go, babies.
Thank you, Raymond, and sorry to the listeners for making you dumber. Pat Scraps, Mayo on the hot seat. We got a report, an article, I guess you'd call it, from Greg Bedard over the bye week with a number of heavy-hitting pieces out of it. Number one, I can just read off a couple of them here. Old Johnny Kraft there was never really on board with the succession plan of Jerod Mayo coming in. He's been the one leading the charge for calling around the NFL to see if anyone's available to either take over or help Mayo move in the right direction. Johnny Kraft not happy with that Jerod Mayo angle of moving the Patriots forward. During that pursuit, it was found out that this year, during the season, was the first time they started looking back at last year, Jerod Mayo's last year as coach, when they decided to give him the reins within a contract, guaranteeing him the head coaching job. They're just finding out now that in the building, he was kind of an asshole. So not the best work there by the Krafts and their crack team. Also, I thought was interesting. I think this was a story. I don't know. A lot of stuff came out this week that when the Patriots were interviewing offensive coordinators this offseason, Jerod Mayo and Elliott Wolf in a room interviewing potential offensive coordinators, several offensive coordinators reported that they immediately took the Patriots off their list of potential teams that they would like to get hired by. They just declined the whatever offer may come their way. They didn't like the vibe in the room. There's an oxymoron for you, Coach Vibe.
I see what you did there.
Wasn't putting off a good enough vibe for his future OC. And quote, conversations were light on football.
So what were they talking about, I wonder?
Oh, you know what Vibes was talking about. Just corporate bullshit where he said at his press conference, it's going to start in the weight room. We're going to build relationships. This team's going to be full of heart. We're going to be men. We're going to learn how to be men before we learn how to be football players. And then some nerd with a fucking tablet that's ready to show him, whatever rub routes that he's rubbing one out to is like, Jerod, like, I got good shit here. I got magic. We're going to score 100,000 points. You want to talk about fucking secret handshakes in the weight room? I'm out of here. And who are your receivers? What?
I'm good. See you later.
Bobby?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, number one, if Jonathan Kraft is actually feeling that way, that makes me feel good because he's probably the future of the Patriots. So if he at least acknowledges there's a problem and is trying to rectify it, okay, that's great. Thankfully that's happening. That was the first thing, too, in Bedard's piece when they had said about how in the defensive meetings that he was talking shit about the offense. So essentially what you're telling me is this guy who was brought in to make this great culture was part of the problem for creating a shitty culture last year, and then we promoted him. I thought that was one of the bigger, most underreported pieces that I heard really the whole year. That was like mind-blowing to me.
That still no one's talking about. No one's bringing that back.
To me, that is insanity. If that's actually true, verified sources, I mean, the Krafts need to take my plan immediately. Immediately.
Yeah, send him up
the situation.
Send him up the VP of bullshit for Optum. And,
because remember last year when we were talking about this and we thought Steven Belichick was the asshole and that's why the defense was crumbling. We're all like, this is Belichick.
It was Mayo.
It was Mayo the whole time, but we thought it was Steven Belichick with his fucking. But that tongue was doing magic, baby. He knew what he was fucking doing out there.
Let's play that. Let's hash out a little bit more. So the last season under Belichick, 4 wins, obviously total disaster. Mac Jones crumbled at his feet in the shadow of Belichick being a big meanie. The year before that, same Mac Jones, worst offensive coach in situation with the walking nutsack Matt Patricia. They somehow squeaked out 8 wins where a Ramondre Stevenson fumble at the 10-yard line away from going to the fucking playoffs. And the year before that, they went to the playoffs with 10 wins with the same dweeb Mac Jones at quarterback. So Bill Belichick got fired, took all the heat for creating this culture of dysfunction. And now we're finding out that the anointed one got his contract 2 years before they wanted to give him the job, and he's spouting off in team meetings, creating a culture of dysfunction and divide. And that's why you fired Belichick. You blamed that on him, which surely he had a large part to do with.
I mean, yeah, let's be honest.
Not taking him out of the total situation. But if you removed that piece of it, if you didn't anoint Jerod Mayo, if you let him go interview for the Panthers job and maybe he took something down there and he left the building, if you did not have Jerod Mayo as that divide, getting Bill's back up and turning the spite meter to 1,000, Do you have Lombardi's fucking wins on the table next year and a somewhat healthy Bill Belichick-led team somewhere around 500 again? I mean, if you look at the history of Belichick, even without Brady, 4 wins is the outlier. That, 2 wins prior in the midst of this dysfunction, they were a borderline playoff team. There's no reason to think, especially with a Drake May or a suitable quarterback play, Bill Belichick wouldn't have a team at 500 knocking on the door of I don't think it would look like this,
Do you think it came down to he went to Kraft and said, basically, this guy's a problem. Can you get rid of him? Like when they were in Germany, like they're probably like, let's talk about the future. And he pretty much said, Mayo's the problem. I would like to get rid of him. And Kraft's like, he's the heir apparent. Like, I'm not getting rid of him. And that's when they probably were like, well, then I'm done here or you're fired, whatever. Do you think that was part of the problem or no?
No, the spite mountain had built up too far. He went,
You think so? Yeah.
Damn, do whatever the fuck you want to do, Robert. Good luck.
Yeah.
You piece of shit.
You piece of shit. You owe me $20 million next year. I'll go do my stints with ESPN and put on a sleeveless Tar Heel sweatshirt and bang my 25-year-old girlfriend. I don't give a fuck, Robert. What he was saying was, okay, you want this guy? Okay.
Good luck.
Go ahead. Go ahead. That's what he was saying.
Yeah.
That is what he was saying. Yeah, Belichick obviously knew that the guy didn't know anything about ball, so.
No, I mean,
how could he? What did he know? How did he know? Yeah,
No,
he played. Obviously, he played, but I mean, he never had a coaching experience. He never was defensive coordinator. He never got that title. He was just the linebackers coach. So he never really had the clipboard. He never was anointed any coordinator position. He was just handed the keys to the fucking head coaching position.
Early in Mayo's career, even as a player, the reports out of locker room was they used to call Mayo Belichick's son. Oh, you mean Bill's son, Mayo? So their relationship was super tight. Was continued to be, obviously brought him onto his coaching staff. And, you can surmise when that broke or when that, relationship severed is when Mayo went behind his back to secure a succession plan for Belichick. It's not like they sat Belichick down and go, here's what we think, with Steve right there with the Steve Belichick with the defensive headset and the clipboard and Bill's obvious plan to leave a empire of his cronies and family members when he decided to retire. That's what he was trying to do with the Patricia and the Joe Judge and McDaniels and his sons. He was trying to leave it, and Mayo was part of that, I'm sure. He was trying to leave it in the hands of people that were in his inner circle. His inner circle just crumbled, and the more that comes out, it's starting to see like Jerod Mayo was the tip of that spear to start to make that crumble. That may be taking a little too far, maybe a little bit far of a stretch and not putting enough on Bill and his inability to keep shit together. But, I like it. I like the theory. And that goes right back to Kraft. Beautiful segue. Jonathan might not like him, but Thunder still owns this team. And I'm not sure the Krafts can quit Mayo. I don't think
there are too many ebbs and flows to personnel acquisition. Like drafts, you have a good year, you have a bad year. That's like everybody in the NFL. That it's too hard to judge a guy on one draft or one free agent period. And I think you have to give him more time than that. I also think there's this element of it. And I think this applies to Jerod Mayo too, sometimes it's hard for owners to admit they were wrong. And the owners here invested a lot in Jerod Mayo. They invested in him as a player. They invested in him as an assistant coach. They basically kicked the greatest coach of all time out the door to hand the job to Jerod Mayo. So, I saw this in Dallas with Jerry Jones. One of the reasons he was so reluctant to let go of Jason Garrett is because he viewed Jason Garrett as his creation. I think a similar dynamic exists here. I don't think Kraft wants to be wrong about Jerod Mayo. I, for that matter, don't think they want to be wrong about Elliott Wolf either.
I don't like that.
That's bad.
Very bad.
That's very bad.
When your ego is starting to get compared with Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
When you say Jerry Jones in the same sentence as the New England Patriots, like, ooh, is that what we're going down right now?
Well, that's where they are. They're both 80-year-old owners that their best years are behind them, and they're still trying to catch up to their previous glory, which they can't. It isn't going to be of their own doing to get to that glory. They're just going to have to get other people to do it, and they refuse to find those people. The right.
Well, they both have their sons waiting in the wings, like, hey, Dad, I'm ready to fucking go, and it doesn't. Yeah, that's not going to help. That matters.
Also in Bedard's piece, when it comes to Mayo's job security, he believes these last 4 games last month will have a lot to do with it. And the way that the Patriots finish out the season, even if they finish out winless, which would be 7 losses in a row to end the season, to finish with 3 wins, the worst record since 1992 or 4. He still believes you can see why in that clip, that Mayo's job security is okay if they compete, if they're not blown out or quit, or if they just have a good showing. He thinks Mayo's okay. But if the thing goes the other way, a very real possibility that the Krafts admit they're wrong and move on. Meanwhile,
before you go real quick, but who's going to determine who if they competed?
I mean, I think as much ego is in play, it takes a whole lot to not see through 3 wins and a team that has no positive direction. You can be the most egomaniac in the world and understand that they know what success looks like. They had 26 years of Belichick. Before that, Pete Carroll, didn't have a tremendous track record here, but took him to the playoffs one year and held a good program. And he went on to be a Hall of Fame coach. Before that was Parcells, one of the greatest coaches of all time. So they understand what a good, healthy organization looks like running. And if they don't see that down there, then, I would imagine if it gets real bad, like 7 straight losses and they get blown out here at the end and everybody hates it.
Imagine having that on your resume, though. Like, you have Bill Parcells that you had on this. You had Pete Carroll, Hall of Famer. Bill Belichick, Hall of Famer. And then Jerod Mayo. Like, which one of these doesn't fit into this whole fucking picture right now? It's Jerod Mayo. Like, you fucking swung for the fences trying to put one over on Bill Belichick saying, it's not you, it's us. We knew how to do this. It's our organization. It's our philosophy. Not you, Bill. And then you have Jerod Mayo here saying, yep, I'm ready to go, guys. And look at what he did. 3 wins, baby. Let's fucking go.
Hoorah, hoosh, baba. Yeah, speaking of Jerod Mayo, seems to continue to have a firm grip on that locker room in the bye week. Here's Austin Hooper.
They're coming back now with these final 4 games.
Yeah, I mean, every game, you're not just being watched by this team, you're being watched by every team. So, I mean, like, what do you want to put out there? Do you want to bust your ass for your teammates, or do you want to get ready for off-season? So, I mean, I've been in this situation a couple times for different teams. It just comes down to personal choice. I mean, you're looking for what vacation you want to go to, or you want to be a professional and handle your business. So that's a decision we all have to make individually.
Audio was a little low there. What he said was you can be a professional and you can go on vacation, or you can be a professional and handle your business. Bobby, who do you think he was talking to or about in that clip there?
I can only assume it is the shittiest wide receiver room in the NFL. And I mean that as far as how they play and their general attitude and demeanor.
Yeah, their overall presence in life.
They're a bunch of cunts.
That was a not so veiled shot at his offensive teammates. And
he looks like he just hates being here. He looked pissed.
He looks like Apwoods. You see that fucking nose on that guy? Holy
and kind of the sloped forehead too.
Yeah. I wonder if he ever went to Vermont to talk to a 14-year-old girl.
He's. I don't think we're not putting that on you, Austin. All right. I think he's doing the right thing here. He's calling. Let's compare those shitty players to Apwoods. Okay, those guys need it.
That's better.
You know who else is starting to look like this and sound like this? Drake May. We don't have a clip of him. I'm sure they'll lose this week. We'll grab one. He's starting to sound not quite, I won't call it dejected, but I think he's going to get himself to a place real quick where he will blow out the wide receivers. Like Brady style. Fuck you. You're not working. You're not running the right routes. I'm not throwing you the ball. Coach, give me another guy. Put him in here. See if he can do it. Because that kid doesn't want to lose. He wants to win. I'd heard it in his last press conference there, the last law. He was just not satisfied. And you could feel it. It was because his wide receivers suck. And maybe his offensive line too. But you're right. Hooper was talking to those wide receivers. For sure, Polk and Baker, whoever else, went down to Miami or whatever and got dick down on some ladies and got their fucking freak on. And
you've been using that a lot lately, haven't you?
I like it.
You think they got the game to get down there and get dicking down? I don't know if they do. Polk doesn't have any confidence. Okay, the best thing he could do was maybe the pool boy.
Do I think a 22-year-old multi-million-dollar professional athlete has the game to go down there and get it done? Yep. Yeah, pretty sure they got it. Or if they don't, they'll just pay for it. Meanwhile,
that's a totally different thing. Paying for it, any asshole can pay for it. But to go down there and get it on swag and a can-do attitude, it's a totally different fucking thing.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
okay, any asshole could. You don't need the money and the fame or anything. All you need to do is be what that biddy needs that night.
And that's your PSA for the.
You're goddamn right. Clip that shit up.
Forget about the old frumpy white guys and Hooper and Hunt and Henry staying home in the weight room in cold ass New England. No,
Exactly.
they're not worried about what biddies need.
No, exactly.
I know this isn't in the email exchange, but did you guys see Travis Hunter at all talking about like he had like a little Q&A kind of thing with all like people, like basically you could ask him questions or whatever, live or whatever. They did ask him about playing, like how would you feel teaming up with Drake May next year, and he goes, nope, pretty much. He fucking put that right off the table. He's like, nope, that wouldn't work out very well.
Can I tell you how much I want anything to do with anybody coming out of that Colorado program?
Oh, you're so old. You're such an old man.
New.
You know what I saw today? Colorado's fourth in their what conference are they in?
Big 12.
They're fourth in their conference. Do you know how many times they played the top 3 teams in that conference?
Not
0.
Yep.
You know how many times they beat the 7, 8, the 6, 7, 8, 9 ranked teams in that conference?
4.
Once. And they lost to the rest of them. And then the rest of their wins came at the bottom 6 of whatever conference they played against. They are a hyped darling of the media because of Deion Sanders, and those kids are too small and not playing against the best competition. Hunter will be a bust because he'll be drafted too high, and Schroeder will go to the Raiders, and they will suck like everybody else that goes to the Raiders.
Sanders is one of the most overrated
They
players.
will both be bust. Give me nobody from Colorado. And I don't know shit about college football, but I know I am 100% right on that.
I think Travis Hunter will have a good career.
You are wrong. Quick break.
Please welcome the new head football coach at the University of North Carolina, Coach Bill Belichick.
Thank you. Thank you. Bubba, I believe you have a presentation for Coach. Chancellor also.
All right. You got a jersey. And I did get a new sport coat for the occasion.
Oops, sorry, Bubba.
Well, Chancellor, thank you for the sweatshirt, but the truth of the matter is, I already have one.
Okay. Ray, there's the full intro to Bill Belichick's press conference at the University of North Carolina. Anybody listening, it was fairly cringeworthy display of hoity-hokey college shit, frankly. I heard your thoughts in the opening take. Bobby, I'll get yours, but I'll just give you mine. I'm not that offended by this, frankly. I'm not offended by the press conference. All press conferences are awkward and weird, especially intro press conferences. They all are. They're all new to the place and they're all kind of walking on footsteps. In colleges, all these colleges, these especially annulled old colleges that, you know, their shit doesn't stink and they believe they're better than everybody else. And they're all legacy people and they have a massive history and their life is about UNC. Like, yeah, they all do this. It's like, this is the world that they live in. It's world UNC. So, and people eat that shit up. They love it. They love it. I'm not offended by it. Yes, on the surface, it's definitely cringeworthy and awkward and silly. And I'm also not offended by Belichick going to college. I actually think it's kind of cool. There's a clip we're going to play from McAfee. More interesting as Patriots fans to see him beat Schuler's record. And, you know, I guess that would be fun. But based on what he said and what the reports are, he's going to college to treat it like the NFL. The NIL has turned college football into a professional organization, and he's going to treat it like that. And I think that will be more interesting for me to see if he can succeed at that level than to see if he can drag the Jaguars to 7 wins the next year and get Shula's record and go out on a whimper in the NFL. He's not going to win a Super Bowl in the NFL. That wasn't happening. He was going to go
because no one wants him. I'm sorry. You're going on a little tangent right now. No one wanted him. That's why he's going to UNC. No one wanted Bill Belichick. He had his people go out there and have feelers. Chicago didn't want him. Jacksonville didn't want him. Philly, they're fucking on the prize to go to probably the NFC Championship game. Dallas, they don't want him. They want someone younger. They probably want Vrabel. No one wanted this guy. That is why he is in UNC. He can't chase the record anymore because nobody.
And that's their problem. People are saying, well, ooh, Belichick fucking he sucks. The NFL is stupid then. If you're the Philadelphia Eagles and you fall short because Sirianni can't coach in the game and call timeout, Bill Belichick could win that team a Super Bowl. If you're the Bills and fall short again because McDermott doesn't call a timeout calls a timeout instead of spiking the ball and can't win a game in which Josh Allen scores 6 fucking touchdowns, you're stupid, NFL. We just called him stupid, and we just played out a whole scenario where it was Jerod Mayo that spearheaded the failure and the demise of the Patriots, not necessarily Bill Belichick. If you're the NFL and you don't want Bill Belichick,
you're an idiot.
You would rather take these douchebags instead of Bill Belichick right now for the next 3 years. I'm sorry, you are in the wrong here. Now, there has to be some parameters there. You probably can't hand over the whole thing for Belichick, and if that's what he was asking for, then that's probably a bridge too far. But the reports are that's not what he was asking for. He was willing to take a step back from that. He was willing to do it in Atlanta, and those cucks down there convinced Arthur Blank not to do it because they didn't want to get big-timed by Belichick. That's what's happening. The executives in power don't want to get cucked by Belichick because they know he's smarter and better than them, probably at their own jobs. That's why. I don't think it's a skill thing. That's why I'm excited for him to go down there. I know you hate the big extended playoffs in the college football, Bobby.
I think it's awesome.
As a casual viewer, I think it's great. And you don't think with $20 million at his disposal, Bill Belichick can maybe get that team, and we know college football is full of just media bullshit. We just talked about with Colorado. You don't think they're going to give them a little bump, North Carolina, if they get a good season next year? Let's see if we can get these guys in the playoffs, and Bill Belichick gets a little magic, gets himself to the final 8, maybe final 4, 3 years. If we're talking national championships, that's a story, man. That's more exciting than him going to fucking Atlanta Falcons, in my opinion.
Yeah, I thought that this was one of the most surprising things that I've seen happen in sports. Really, I thought it was bullshit. I thought it was just him putting out feelers saying, hey, NFL teams, come get me, just as kind of like a mutual publicity stunt. Then when it actually happened, I was truly stunned. And just we're touching on the thing with the NFL. I think it is kind of dumb that another team doesn't give him a shot. I think the NFL is leaning way, way, way too much into young, new coaches. They just don't know how to set up a program. Like occasionally retreads that just know how to set up a full program and be able to guide a team through everything that the organization needs, not just call plays, not just draw up plays or something. There's so many more things. Look at what's going on with New England. We have people here that don't know how to run a program. Sometimes you just need someone to kind of set up the whole thing, but maybe they do need to be told what they can and can't do. A guy like Belichick needs that. But I think it is exciting. I don't care that he didn't, what he's doing. I'm not offended by it. If he wants to coach, I think it could add an exciting new trend to college football where more professional coaches coming in. Harbaugh did it. Now Belichick's doing it. Maybe somebody else could. It could be a continued trend.
We know Harbaugh's not going to do it because he's probably going to take those Chargers to the playoffs.
Also, he's awaiting a suspension, and the next time he steps back into
so he's
never coaching college football again. This job has to work. He's coaching for his fucking life.
Yeah, and if it'll be interesting to see how Belichick deals with the NCAA. Like that's a storyline in itself.
That's gonna be fun. Yeah.
Those assholes. I mean, yeah, I think
I can't wait to when the first kid skips class and it gets back to Belichick.
Yeah, he just like cuts
all those scenarios.
Well, that's the thing too, because
the team and like ruins his life. Like
that's
you're
the thing.
The team, therefore your scholarship to the school is gone. Go back to wherever you came from and work the gas station. You're out. Bye.
Mm-hmm.
He's an asshole. He hates kids. Like this is going to be a formula. This could be a formula for disaster.
Yep.
Like
he
doesn't.
That's true either. People keep saying that. Like he just makes you work hard. So if you have the right,
but these kids are pussies.
No, they're not. You know who would have been excellent with Bill Belichick? Drake May.
Oh yeah,
would have been excellent with him. He would have absolutely been. That's true.
Their paths at UNC and New England missed by a year.
Yeah,
and he would have been great. There are still young people. It's not like generationally people just don't get soft. Like there are still sections of people that take good hard coaching, and generally those are the ones that succeed. Frankly, there are still people that come up in harder situations that understand what it takes to what hard work is. The world is softer, therefore eventually people get softer. But I've always pushed back in that. Belichick just makes you work hard. He's not necessarily an asshole. He can be, certainly. But to his players, I think he cares about them, believes in them if they are giving him what he wants, which is just hard work. Yeah. And like I said, I'm kind of excited to see what it looks like. All right. Frankly, it was a little bit of a fluff subject. Did you want to talk Celtics, Ray, or you want to save that for next week?
Next week.
Okay.
We'll see if we can get Jack on here.
Yeah, we'll see if... I heard that wrong. jack on, jack off. There was something in there that I couldn't quite.
You heard jack off.
I did.